Good evening, good evening, good evening, my YouTube family. Good evening. Today is Thursday, March 25th. And you know what time it is? You know what time it is? It's a rainy night in Georgia. It's raining here, y'all. Raining all over the world. It's raining, but I am here, and you know what time it is? It is Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. Please hit the like button, hit the share if you haven't already hitting that notification button. Please do. Please make sure you share this broadcast on your social media platforms. You know I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here, y'all. No matter what's going on, you hear the rumble. It's thundering. It's a rainy, rainy night in Georgia. All right, of course, let me share my screen. This is brought to you by Withhold the Vote. Withhold the Vote, where we hold elected officials and candidates accountable. Don't get it twisted. It does not mean don't vote. Don't run tell that lie. We are holding them accountable. We are going to the polls, and we're no longer giving this thing away for free. The pimp game is over. We're going to the polls with intent, with purpose, and some strategy. We're not going to the polls and giving these votes away for free just because somebody has a D behind their name or R behind their name, or they got black or brown skin, or I like them. No, we're going to make some real decisions about who gets this vote. So this is why we do Keeping Up with Congress again every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you have not gone to the website, it is withholdthevote.org, withholdthevote.org, where you can see what we're doing, what we're up to. You can stay abreast, withholdthevote.org. All right, let's get this party started. You know, I always like to bring you some reparations information. What's going on in reparations news? I thought this was a very, very interesting article. This is about Brown University. Hope I'm gonna make the screen. Yeah, I made it larger. You can see it. So Brown University. I thought this was a very good article. I'm going to read it all to you because I couldn't get enough of it. So I wanted to bring it all to you tonight. So it goes on to say, right now, Brown graduates are voting on historic referenda that call upon the university to identify the descendants of slaves it harmed during its involvement in the transatlantic slave trade and to provide reparations to those identified descendants. Get them, Brown University. It says in 2003, then Brown University President Ruth Simmons appointed the Steering Committee on Slavery and Justice, which was charged to investigate and prepare a report about the university's historical relationship to slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. The final report includes a number of notable findings. University Hall, Brown's oldest building, was built by a group that included enslaved workers, according to construction records. The school's first president, Reverend James Manning, arrived in Rhode Island accompanied by a personal slave. Many of the assets that underwrote the university's creation and growth derived directly and indirectly from slavery and the slave trade, the report writes. The Brown family of Providence, the university's namesake, owned slaves and sent several slave ships to the coast of Africa, including the first ever to sail from Providence. Our history, y'all. The history that they don't want to, that no one wants to tell, is coming to the light. Goes on to say, still, neither the steering committee's original mandate from its charge nor its ultimate report call for any efforts to identify the descendants of slaves connected to the university, let alone provide direct monetary reparations. The final section of the report lists recommendations for the university to make amends, but notably rejects the community-wide calls, including those of reparations experts, to earmark scholarship for African-American students as a form of restitution. Damn, even after all of that, they wasn't going to do anything. Wow, it is sadly no surprise that the university received immense racist backlash from its mere academic study and publication of the report. During an interview with conservative talk radio based in Virginia, Slavery and Justice Committee Chair Professor James Campbell was shocked to be attacked by callers who accused Brown of running a black money grab by namby-pamby liberals. Some alumni additionally threatened Brown that they would no longer donate to the school if it would be writing checks to blacks. As the first ever president of an Ivy League school, Ruth Simmons, in particular, was thrust under harsh scrutiny as a Black woman leader pioneering the study of slavery at her university. But the university should not be deterred by fear of facing backlash similar to what it received when it released the report nearly 2 decades ago. And it should do now what it should have done, what it should have long ago. Goes on to say, today is a different day. This year, the Undergraduate Council of Students passed a resolution calling upon the university to make all possible efforts to identify the descendants of enslaved Africans who were entangled with and or afflicted by the university. This search will include the descendants of slaves who built the university, who were owned, trafficked, or sold by the Brown family, and who were owned by the university administrators and benefactors. The resolution additionally calls upon the university to provide preferential admission to any identified descendants and provide reparations in line with other institutions of higher education, including Georgetown University, Virginia Theological Seminary, and Princeton Theological Seminary, all of which were also entangled in the slave trade. We ain't playing, y'all. This was a great article. I just wanted to bring you all of it. Should a majority of students vote to approve the referenda, thereby demonstrating that the community's values align with those presented in the resolution, the university must make a plan to provide monetary disbursements to the identified descendants of slavery. The university has marshaled its financial commitment to Providence public schools as evidence of restitution. However, this effort falls short as a means to make amends for the university's wealth gained from the slave trade. While the university undoubtedly owes a debt to Providence, just 17% of its public school students are Black, and it is uncertain how many of those students are descendants of slavery, let alone how many descend from the slaves harmed directly by the university. This is where it all gets sticky when you have reparations and you have the word Black attached to it, because they just put it right here. It says the university undoubtedly owes a debt to Providence, but just 17% of its public school students are Black. And it is uncertain how many of those students are descendants of slavery, let alone how many descend from the slaves harmed directly by the university. This is where it gets sticky. And this is why we have to have a federal initiative that will legally define those who are descendants of chattel slavery. Until that federal initiative is established, these are the kind of things that's going to continue to happen. But I'm happy for the any work that's being done. These local initiatives will push the federal government to do the right thing, and we're going to continue to push here on the ground. Goes on to say, ultimately, Brown's professed mission to atone for its history with the slave trade will have no tangible, just, and equitable impact if descendants of slavery do not receive, on behalf of their ancestors, the debts owed to them for forced unpaid labor. Goes on to say, the average Black family in America possesses just 1/10 of the wealth of a typical white family. This is not an artifact of a bygone era, but rather the result of evolving forms of structural racism that have perpetuated and exacerbated the consequences of slavery. While the Brown family, the university, and its benefactors were enriching themselves from slavery, they were denying generations of Black Americans the opportunity to accrue wealth and achieve a better life for their families. The university's prosperity comes as a direct result of the oppression of Black Americans. This article was the bomb, y'all. Therefore, in the context of Brown, reparations are not an unfair advantage or a form of unfounded preferential treatment. They are a means to recompense the setbacks that descendants of slavery contended with in the 21st century. Y'all, this article was phenomenal. I wanted to bring you the entire article. Like I said, reparations is a federal initiative. But guess what? We're going to keep pushing here on the ground, and we're going to keep holding these universities, these corporations. Let's keep pushing, y'all. Let's keep pushing. Bringing you some business news. It goes on to talk about jumpstarting Black-owned businesses will jumpstart the economy. It says if just 15% of Black business owners hire one employee each, we could add 600,000 jobs. Let's say that again. I just thought just the headline alone was enough. If just 15% of Black business owners hire one employee each, we could add 600,000 jobs. In this article, it says research shows that if 15% of Black-owned businesses are able to hire at least one more employee each, the U.S. economy could grow by 55 billion and add 600,000 new jobs. It says, who wouldn't support that regardless of political identity? My point exactly. Okay, let's dive into some of these bills, y'all. It's my Friday. I know it's Thursday, y'all, but it is my Friday. I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this is my Friday. So let's dive into some of these bills. We're at the quarter of an hour, so didn't want to bring you too much tonight. I've been trying to figure out my rhythm with these bills. I bring you about 10 to 15 bills a night, just enough to kind of keep, whet your appetite a little bit more. Hope you get a lot out of this. Like I said, we will not be experts in politics and policy, but we're going to know enough to be dangerous, right? We're going to know enough to hold these people accountable. HR 766 is the Taylor Act. The Taylor Act, Representative Barry Loudermilk, Republican out of Georgia. That Loudermilk name is powerful here in Georgia. I think I'm gonna do some research on who these Loudermilks are in Georgia. Barry Loudermilk, Republican out of Georgia. This Taylor Act goes on to talk about banks. The Taylor Act would apply fewer regulations for smaller banks rather than a one-size-fit-all. In this article, it says, do existing rules meant to police Wall Street inadvertently hurt small local banks too much? It goes on to talk about community bank share. The community bank share of U.S. banking fell more than 40% from 1994 to 2015. To say this, basically the small banks are hurting. And many critics point a finger to the law enacted in the wake of the Great Recession, the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Protection Act of 2010 and subsequent executive branch regulations enacted under its authority. Even though the bulk of community banks fall actually seems to have occurred prior to 2028. So they're trying to figure out why the little banks, why the little banks can't, why they keep falling, why they're not making it. They contend that because many of these regulations apply to all banks or financial institutions. The largest, with their far larger employees and team of lawyers, are in a better position to comply. The smaller institutions, which can't cope as easily, become forced to downsize, consolidate, or close entirely. So this Representative Barry Loudermilk, the Taylor Act, talks about small banks and how to help them thrive and survive. HR 766. HR 767, we see these a lot of these, to designate the facility of the United States Postal Service located at 40 Fulton Street in Middleton, New York, as the Benjamin A. Gilman Post Office Building. So we do see a lot of these renaming of post offices in keeping up with Congress. I tell you, we see abortion bills, we see veterans, we see a lot of immigration, national security, gun legislation, and streamlining the processes of how they actually do business in Congress. So I told you I take special interest, however, in food and air and water and land. A lot of this stuff, we're going to get it right, but we're going to have to get the food, the air, the water, and the land. We're going to have to get that right. So this bill, like I said, we see a lot of these postal renamings. This is Representative Maloney, Sean Patrick Maloney. He's a Democrat out of New York, HR 676. HR 768. HR 768 is the Block, Report, and Suspend Suspicious Shipments Act of 2021. This is Representative McKinley, David McKinley. He's a Republican out of West Virginia, Block, Report, and Suspend Suspicious Shipments Act. That sounds like a tongue twister. This bill creates additional requirements for drug manufacturers and distributors who discover a suspicious order for controlled substances. In addition to reporting the suspicious order to the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, a manufacturer or distributor must also exercise due diligence and decline to fill the order. The DEA must issue regulations specifying the indicators that give rise to a suspicious order. So there's some suspicious orders of drugs. Block, Report, and Suspend Act of 2021, HR 768. HR 769 is the Rural Moms Act. This is Republican out of Washington State, Representative Dan Newhouse. Rural Moms Act. Let's see what this is all about. The Rural Maternity and Obstetrician, the Modernization of Services Act. That word had me stumped all day. I looked it up, I listened to it, and I still it had me stumped all day. This legislation would amend the Public Health Service Act to improve the obstetric. Y'all, this word, I'm gonna look it up in a minute. I don't know why this word is making me not be able to say it. In rural areas, according to the Congressional Record Bill summary, he goes on to say the alarming maternal mortality rates among rural and minority women is persistent and tragic. But in the 21st century, it can and must be fixed, says Representative Newhouse. From advancing and rewarding innovative data, reporting efforts to expand access to maternal telehealth services, and providing training to better equip healthcare professionals to serve these women, this legislation takes concrete steps to address the root cause of this problem. So helping our mothers in rural Georgia, HR 769. HR 770, HR 770, the United States Commission on an Open Society with Security Act of 2022. This is Representative Norton, Eleanor Norton, Democrat out of the DC at large. This bill establishes the United States Commission on an Open Society with Security to study how the government may provide for both security in and public access to federal buildings and other federal property and sites. Ooh, y'all, this goes back to when they stormed the Capitol. They're trying to figure out how to bring people back in a more secure way. The commission shall examine one, government and private security practices and proposals, building design, public space management, counterterrorism needs, and refurbishment of existing federal facilities. 2, the effect of access to public facilities and spaces on constitutional rights and civil liberties, economies of affected jurisdictions, architectural, aesthetics, traffic, and congestion, and employee job performance. Ooh, they gonna get it right. Technology. Number 3, technology to augment or replace traditional modes of security. And number 4, methods of assessing the risk posed by terrorists balanced against the needs and values of open access. Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out how people can come back to the Capitol because it is our house, right? This U.S. Capitol, and this is our house. So they got to figure this out. HR 770. HR 771, the SOS Act of 2021, the SOS Act of 2021. I thought this was interesting, y'all. SOS. This is Democrat out of California, Representative Panetta, Jimmy Panetta, Democrat out of California. This bill, let me see something. I looked it up because, oh, it's got music playing, y'all. I needed not to play music. This SOS is the Save Our Stages. Save Our Stages, commonly referred to as the SOS Act. It guarantees up to $16.25 billion in federal stimulus to independent concert venues across the country. See, these people losing money because they can't have concerts. They about to get some stimulus. Here it goes. The industry that arguably been hit the hardest by the coronavirus pandemic. When the SOS Act was finally signed into law, it was renamed the Shuttered Venue Operations Grant, the SVOG. The bill's passing promised much needed relief, but it's taken 2.5 months for the SBA to announce when venue owners will be able to start applying for funding. So this SOS is the Save Our Stages, these concert venues. They're going to get some money, y'all. There's money coming down the pike. I keep telling you, if you don't have a business or if you're not a part of a nonprofit, please attach yourself to something and someone, because the monies are flowing in this Biden administration. I think that's why Republicans, just dislike the Democrats so much, because they make it rain, don't they? Because that's what it looked like. They making it rain. HR 771, the SOS Act. HR 772, to designate the facility, here's another one, of the United States Postal Service located at 229 Minnetonka Avenue South in Wayzata, Minnesota, as the Jimmy Ranstad Post Office. Another post office renaming, y'all. HR 772. HR 773 is the Medical Debt Relief Act of 2021. This is Representative Porter, Kate Porter. She's a Democrat out of California. Representative Katie Porter, the Medical Debt Relief Act of 2021. This legislation is to shield patients with medical debt from long-term financial devastation. The Medical Debt Relief Act would remove paid off or settled medical debt from a patient's credit report and institute a year-long waiting period before new medical debt can be reported. Yeah, we appreciate that. Who is this? Democrat Katie Porter. Yes, people have medical debt and you can't get that stuff off your credit report. You can't move. You can't do a whole bunch of stuff. I like this. HR 773, Medical Debt Relief Act of 2021. HR 774 is the Spotlight Act. The Spotlight Act. Who they want to put the spotlight on, y'all? They want the Spotlight Act. Let's see. It's to shine a light on dark money, y'all. This is dark money. That's that money that they can't trace. They don't know where it's coming from, but it's a lot of it. This dark money, these political donors, and hold the government accountable to enforce our nation's campaign finance laws. The Spotlight Act will require certain political nonprofit organizations to disclose their donors to the Internal Revenue Service, reversing a Donald Trump era rule that eliminated the requirement that allows such organizations to keep their donors secret. Ooh-wee. They still cleaning up from Donald Trump. They're going to be cleaning up from Trump for a long, long time. A long time. HR 774. All right, we almost there, y'all. This is our last one for the evening. The HR 775, the Disability Voting Rights Act. Disability Voting Rights Act. This is Mary Gay Scanlon. Mary Gay Scanlon, Democrat out of Pennsylvania. Let's see what this is. The Disability Voting Rights Act, a bill that would amend the Help America Vote Act of 2002 to promote access to voter registration and voting for individuals with disabilities. In a discussion of voting rights, individuals with disabilities are often overlooked, as are the barriers preventing them from making their voices heard at the ballot box. Interesting legislation. So how do you determine who is able to make those kind of choices? So I think that's where it probably gets a little, they'll have work to do. But it's here. HR 775, the Disability Voting Rights Act, Mary Gay Scanlon, Democrat out of Pennsylvania. Ooh, we early tonight, y'all. I told you it's my Friday, and it's a rainy night in Georgia. And I'm tired and sleepy. What a week. I see my family chiming in. Hey, Donovan. Hey, Satchet up in Ohio. Hey, family. Hey, thank y'all for chiming in and being with me on this journey of keeping up with Congress. Y'all, this is a lot of information. I try not to overwhelm you, but I try to bring you enough. Like I say, we have to keep our eyes on these people. We can't go back to the polls, and we can't allow this administration to rock us back to sleep. I see it. Folks are tired. As soon as the sun is out, people are, everywhere. And everybody's tired of COVID. I get it. Hell, I'm tired too. I get it. But we cannot be rocked back to sleep. We can't. So I did a thing yesterday, y'all. I am now on Clubhouse. I'm telling you, that was one, I'm on enough social media platforms. I'm here, I'm there, but I'm finally now on Clubhouse, y'all. If y'all haven't gotten on Clubhouse, I'm new to it. I just got on yesterday. So I'm gonna get on Clubhouse, and I think I'm gonna do a new thing next week, and I'm gonna incorporate maybe Clubhouse because it is all audio. So I think I'm gonna do a Clubhouse along with Keeping Up with Congress to help garner us some attention and support with our efforts. This is a lot of information, and we need all hands on deck. So stay tuned. Monday should be interesting. I'm gonna incorporate some Clubhouse into this, and let's just see where it goes. We'll give some shout outs, and we'll make this thing as fun and exciting as we can with policy. It's like this ain't the most fun stuff to do, but it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. So like I say, it is my Friday, y'all. So I am out of here. I have a desk load of stuff to do over the weekend, but join us on Saturday. We have a special broadcast. All of our broadcasts are special, but Saturday we have Kendrick Johnson's mother. She will be joining us. I'm not sure if his dad will be joining us, but Kendrick Johnson, for those of you that don't know, was the young man, the student at Valdosta High School who was found rolled up in a gym mat, who was killed. However, still don't know what happened to this young man, rolled up in a gym mat. They come to find out his organs were removed. I don't know what all this is. This family still has no answers here in Georgia as to what happened to Kendrick Johnson, but we're going to bring his mother on the broadcast on this Saturday. They are opening up a new investigation. There's some new information that has emerged. So we're bringing her on. So make sure to tune in on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, of course, on Facebook and Twitter as well. But be sure to tune in. And, we have to keep these families in prayer. And we're in some trying times in this country, but we as a people, we don't stop. We don't quit. We keep fighting. We keep fighting. I love you guys. Y'all have a good, like I say, this is my Friday. So y'all have a good evening, and we will see you on Saturday. Make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, the notification button. Please share this on all your social media platforms. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 7:30, right here with Keeping Up with Congress. And of course, on my way out, everybody, I see you, Rhonda. I see you, family, in the chat. I'm gonna put your comments on the screen. I love you guys. Have a good night, and I will see you right back here on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock a.m. Have a good one, everybody.